Sometimes you find something cultish in a video game that makes you think, I need a drink. This is why today we're diving into mysterious video games that are believed to be connected to cults. Brought to you by War Thunder. Play War Thunder for free right now on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation and experience incredibly comprehensive vehicle combat with over 2,000 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships as you take them into fun and dynamic PvP battles. Every vehicle is meticulously modeled to its every component, so they don't just take general damage, but fully deconstruct based on where you hit them. It's pretty cool. Play War Thunder using my link in the description or pinned comment down below and claim a limited time large bonus pack for new and returning players who've been inactive for the last 6 months that includes premium vehicles, a premium count, an exclusive decorator, and more. Talking Tom. Thanks to exclamation point Balling Dog 120 for submitting this mystery on the oddheader Discord. Talking Tomcat, released in 2010, is the first in the series of mobile games where you interact with Tom and his animal friends and they repeat back whatever you say to them. The games are extremely popular with children, with over 10 billion downloads in nearly every country, though no talking cat takes over the world without controversy. As back in 2014, rumors spread on Facebook that the apps were tricking children into revealing personal information to potential predators. This turned out to just be a Facebook hoax, though parents maybe should have been more worried about something else lurking in the data of the game to this day. As well data mining the latest iOS version of the game, exclamation point Balling Dog found a strange image that seems rather ominous for a game about a cute talking cat. The image contains some sort of strange symbol or diagram surrounded by what looks like dozens of number ciphers. While none of this has been deciphered, and it's still unclear what any of this is supposed to mean, one thing we know for sure is that this makes Tom look like he's working for the Illuminati, or some sort of other secret society that communicates in code. And considering Talking Tom doesn't seem to want to talk, what is this?
What is this?
It looks like we may never know the answer until a talking cat is dictator of the world. Hakuga. Thanks to Gavin and Ski for submitting this mystery on the oddheader website and Discord. Hakuga is a game that was originally available on itch.io and GameJolt, but can no longer be found as it seems to have mysteriously disappeared along with its creator. Also, little warning here, the game itself has a lot of flashing lights, so keep that in mind as I show it here, as this game is about the furthest thing from an anti-drug PSA. The earliest playthrough I could find of Hakuga is from October 2022, and other than a few gameplay clips, I can't find any information about the game, other than a Reddit post from 1 year ago of someone saying it's an unfinished psychological horror game that their friend was making before they died in 2017, and that they fixed some errors and ported it over to a more recent version of Unity so it could finally be released, though apparently not for long. Hakuga is a fairly disorienting trip, to say the least, as your objective appears to be to traverse through the environment until you find a way to transport to the next, with so many confusing messages and images flashing on screen that it's hard to make any sense of what's going on here. There's also evidently a ton of secrets to be found as you make your way through the madness, like this sign that says a room was removed due to demand of the authorities, but describes the removed content as being a picture of a weapon, an IP address, a .onion link, and a link to a deleted chat room, which seems to imply there was once something here that involved the dark web. There's also this dedication to someone named Akiba Tomoki, though I can't find any information about Akiba Tomoki online either. One Easter egg Chedos on YouTube found is perhaps the strangest of them all, as in one area is an image of Shoko Asahara, the leader of the Japanese doomsday cult Shinrikyo. The cult shocked the world in 1995 when its members released a deadly chemical nerve agent across Tokyo subway cars, killing 13 people and injuring as many as 6,000. The cult is also known for supposedly having their own video game, although this is believed to have been a joke to mock the cult by a couple of aspiring video game developers. The purpose and existence of Hakuga, however, remains completely unknown. The game also contains both English and Japanese writing, further confusing where the game originated from. And Hakuga appears to mean something in Japanese, as it's both the name of a children's choir and a tea company. Perhaps most mysterious is that right next to this photo of the cult leader in the game is a message that says not to press R here. Unfortunately, Chedos did not press the button, as he's too scared to find out what would happen if he pressed it, so it's still a mystery what it would have done, and why the image of a cult leader is here in the first place, though for Chedo's sake, it's probably better that he didn't press the button. Sonic Dreams Collection. Thanks to LigerBomb2552 for submitting this mystery on the oddheader Reddit. Sonic Dreams Collection wasn't released by Sega and is rather a collection of minigames made to parody Sonic fan culture, released in 2015 by indie developer Artkid. The game is an unsettling trip through a series of minigames that, according to the game's lore, are supposed to be unfinished Sonic prototypes made by a non-existent Sega studio that developer Artkid recovered from a Dreamcast development kit that they purchased on eBay in 2013. The games include Sonic Movie Maker, where we're thrown into a world full of ragdolling Sonic characters and must film 6-second videos of them in increasingly bizarre spicy situations, which the friends all like to watch together for some reason. As well as My Roommate Sonic, a first-person VR game where the player is encouraged to make advances on Sonic by Dr. Eggman, which ends up being a tickle fest with Sonic until he turns into some sort of vacuum thing and sucks up the player, transforming them into a headless, naked humanoid Sonic forced to run through rings until the consoles shut down. The most suspicious game is Eggman Origin, which initially appears to be unplayable, but if you go into the files of the game, you can find a file called SegaNet. Opening it, you can find a login screen and using hints found in the other minigames. Typing the username MJ Studio and password White Glove gets you into the server. You also have to create a custom avatar in the Make My Sonic minigame and upload it to the photo booth, which allows you to finally play Eggman Origin. The game takes you to a mostly untextured area while strange ethereal music plays in the background. Exploring the environment, we can find an Eggie who tells us to treat our egg babies good, as we might get an award, as well as Dr. Robotnik in the shape of an egg baby. You can also find Rumbling Ground, which reveals a worm when you call at it by clicking. Carrying the worm to Robotnik makes him, what the f***? Robotnik grows each time you feed him a worm, until eventually a capsule with a spiral path rises from underneath him. Climbing to the top of the path leads to Egg Baby Robotnik, who eats Sonic, which reveals that Sonic has ascended. Players were quick to notice Eggman Origins seemed to have a number of connections to Ascensionism, a religion with origins traceable on the internet as far back as 2006, popularized by a secret appearance in the game Kanye Quest that gave many the impression it's a cult. The creator of Kanye Quest said last year that the Easter egg in Kanye Quest was nothing more than an Easter egg, but that it was inspired by actual Ascensionism and its surrounding cult discussions found on the internet, which is said to be based on the fact that the human soul is reincarnated over and over. The soul can be cloned, that someone never truly dies until their clones die, and that these laws can be exploited to achieve a godlike existence. Players such as Brodeman on Reddit say the ties to Ascensionism are most clear in Eggman Origin, when Eggman eats Sonic and causes him to ascend, calling him a god in the sky, and that the ascended Sonic reverts back to his standard appearance and name, no matter what the player customized him to look like, which Brodeman points out is akin to killing Sonic's clones and rebirthing his soul. The strange connection to Ascensionism isn't where this mystery ends, as after multiple ascensions are achieved, more Eggie characters appear in the environment with rather unique dialogue. It was found by hacking the game to 10,000 ascensions. A giant Eggie with smoke appears in the environment. Interacting with the egg reveals this message: I always get what I want. My social security number is which unbelievably is a valid social security number that was registered in Florida in 1987. Strangely, this same message also appears in another game called Capsule Silence 24, hidden on a hacker note. The free game was released for the band Anamanaguchi by developer Tora Horse, who also designed Sonic Dreams Collection. It's still unknown what I always get what I want means, and why someone in Florida's social security number is hidden in this game. Makes you curious whether they know, and how they would feel about their private information being hidden in a game like this. RuneScape. RuneScape is a medieval fantasy MMORPG known as one of the largest and most popular in the genre, with over 300 million players exploring the lands of Gielinor since the game first released in 2001. One of the reasons the game is popular is that it allows players to choose their own objectives, so you can go on quests and engage in combat, or you can just make it a farming game if you want. Some players, however, may have taken the choose your own adventure concept a little far when they started a cult dedicated to cabbage. Cabbage isn't a very valuable item in the game, which made it especially odd when the player Blackbane set out on a mission to pick hundreds of thousands of cabbages and shout cabbage-related phrases across the game world. A stunt like that didn't go unnoticed, and eventually other players started joining in on Blackbane's fun. And while as much fun as it is to pick cabbage, Blackbane didn't actively recruit members, but if another player ever asked him if he wanted to recruit people for help, he would then reveal the existence of his secret organization and welcome them with the chant Ka-Ba-Ji. The group grew to include hundreds of players by 2005, participating in cabbage-themed activities, collecting as many as 10 million cabbages over time. One of the Order's most popular rituals was cabbage bombing, or gathering a bunch of cabbages and dropping them all in the same spot at the same time, to the confusion of the many players around them. As the Order grew more elaborate, they released an official guidebook on complex cabbage dropping patterns and cabbage picking rules called the Green Book of Knowledge, and eventually even worshipped a mysterious cabbage god called Kralashonkas. The RuneScape developers appeared to take notice of the cult and introduced Brassica mages into the game in 2016, who have dedicated themselves to a cabbage god known as the Brassica Prime. Traces of the original Order of the Cabbage haven't been seen since the early 2010s. At this point, it's unknown what the Brassica Prime is and if it remains to be seen in the world of RuneScape. But if we want to make sure it's pleased before it arrives, we better start picking some cabbage. Drowned God, Conspiracy of the Ages. Drowned God is a sci-fi adventure game that released in 1996, created and written by Harry Horse, the pen name of mysterious children's book author, musician, and political cartoonist, who died under mysterious circumstances along with his wife in 2007. Newspapers first reported their death as resembling Romeo and Juliet, with the husband and wife found together in bed, and that she also had a terminal illness. However, the couple who found their body said that wasn't the case, and that Harry, his wife, and their pets all appeared to have died from dozens of stab wounds when they arrived. It was then reported that Harry was thought to be the culprit, as he'd previously shown signs of being unstable. However, the details of the police investigation remain sealed to this day, and with the gruesome details provided by the couple, along with the fact their front door was apparently left open when they were found, has led many to believe that perhaps Harry was actually murdered, though who could have killed them and their possible motive is unclear. But what is Drowned God, and what does the game have to do with any of this? Harry initially tried to sell Drowned God as a lost manuscript, and tricked scholars into thinking it was written by a 19th century English poet, Richard Henry Horne, the manuscript ironically being about a forger who makes prophecies through a false medium. Harry was eventually caught after his drawings were recognized, landing Harry in legal trouble. Despite this, Harry told interviewers that he believed in an alternate genesis of the world, believing in things like pigs being mutant experiments for harvesting organs, or that the Ark of the Covenant was a nuclear weapon, and also said since he wasn't legally allowed to publish Drowned God as a book, he would instead release it as a game. Drowned God connects nearly every known conspiracy theory and secret society at the time, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, the Knights Templar, which apparently included members such as Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the Mayan pyramids, the Egyptian gods, Area 51, and Atlantis is in there too. The game is told in a non-linear fashion, and the storytelling is also very vague, so it's hard to ever know what's going on with 100% certainty. In Drowned God, the player must solve puzzles to move across the game's 4 worlds, all while collecting 4 artifacts. They are aided in their journey by 2 different entities in the hub area of the game, each depicted as a disembodied face on a screen, who both have vague motivations behind why they're ordering you around, neither of which seem very trustworthy. According to the game's plot, all human mythologies were created by aliens who crash-landed on Earth. Their first civilization was Atlantis, but unfortunately fell into the ocean, hence the name Drowned God, because the aliens were believed to be gods by the Mayans. Still with me, the aliens then manipulated human DNA in order to create a docile workforce to advance society, building the pyramids and everything else on Earth. And every secret organization in the game exists to either protect the alien's secret or use this knowledge for their own gain. In the end, you're presented with 2 different doors by the evil faces. Both choices lead to endings that don't provide any closure, seemingly either rendering you a human slave as an Illuminati prisoner, or an experiment for genetic mutations. However, a secret ending also exists by not siding with either organization, and you're greeted by the aliens, who say they are coming. You can return to them in time of revelation, and they will see you again. Looking at the behind the scenes video included in press kits makes it evident that the creators of this game seem to really believe in this stuff, or at the very least took it very, very seriously. Harry Horse explains in the video that his previous career as a political cartoonist caused him issues.
I think it was confounded a lot of the time by the fact that I did have a lot of alternative conspiracies about what was happening in politics. And some of those conspiracies were right.
The art director also states the game is about unlocking a greater secret, which involves some sort of initiation.
The game is thought about as a long crescendo from near ignorance into initiation.
However, it turns out Drowned God was not finished to the original scope of the creator's vision, and Harry said in an interview that the full truth was to be revealed in the sequel, which would have been called Cult. Unfortunately, that title was never finished, so we'll likely never know the answer behind Cult or Harry's many mysterious conspiracies that seem to cause him issues. It still remains unsolved what exactly happened the day of Harry's mysterious passing, leaving Drowned God and the countless questions that follow Harry Horse a mystery where we may never understand the truth. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. Thanks to Noah Laybolt for submitting this discovery on oddheader.com. Ghost Recon released in 2001 for PC, later ported to Mac, Xbox, PlayStation 2, and GameCube. However, something Noah found in the game suggests Ubisoft went to some unordinary lengths to achieve this, as right on the main menu of the PlayStation 2 version, by selecting the special features, there's a feature called Interview, which at first glance just looks like a developer diary about Ghost Recon. Players probably found this feature pretty boring and didn't read too much into it, but further into the diary, the author reveals that the studio is abusing and psychologically conditioning its game testers. Writing long hours and the fact they are working for free helps break their spirits and brings them into line with our way of thinking. Later going on to say that one of the game testers tried to escape during a bathroom break, but that they were caught and put in a new set of shackles. And they set the monitors to give all the testers blinding headaches as a punishment. They also state their plans to buy more game testers at an auction because they burn through them at such a high rate, and that the number of bugs they are finding has gone up steadily as they lose the ability to think for themselves. Damn. Not sure why they confess this here for anyone to read, but considering it might be the first time anyone's noticed this in over 20 years, I guess they never thought anyone was actually going to read this. This has to at least be in the top 10 most questionable things that have ever happened in the Ubisoft offices. Maybe top 20. LcdDem. Thanks to Lemon for submitting this on the oddheader Discord. LcdDem is a mysterious game that had a bit of a following when it was uploaded online in 2010 as a freeware title that was a homage to the 2004 indie Japanese game Yumi Nikki. Yumi Nikki being a surreal journey through a girl's dreams with no dialogue, combat, or plot, created by an unknown developer named Goiaba. LcdDem is similar to Yumi Nikki, and then it's also about a young girl exploring dreams. In fact, LcdDem is an abbreviation for lucid dream and was also created by an unknown creator named Karamba. To please the creator's requests, we won't show too much of this game, as in April 2013, Karamba removed it from the internet and posted a bizarre message saying they wanted everyone to forget about the game, for reasons which are still unknown to this day. Naturally, this created the opposite effect, as everyone became obsessed with the reasons why and talked about LcdDem more than ever. Dark rumors circulated about what happened to Karamba, and a message added at the bottom of their website in 2016 says if you see someone talk about LcdDem, please warn them. It also emerged that Karamba had numerous identities that used to work on other games and create music projects online. Karamba's multiple identities has also led some to theorize Karamba could even be Yumi Nikki's original creator, Kikiyama. A movement of music occurred shortly after, as a number of similar sounding mostly anonymous artists began uploading music that sounded suspiciously similar to Karamba, as well as containing mysterious lyrics and themes that aligned with Karamba, even at times singing about Karamba's disappearance, usually with the use of Vocaloid software to produce the vocal. Many of these artists are rumored to be Karamba, such as X0O0X_, who submitted Lemon noticed in their YouTube recommendations because the song title and channel name appeared to be blank. In fact, millions of people have watched it because the video somehow fails to display any sort of name. Lemon watched the video with English subtitles when they saw this message at the end: "Welcome to the cult." It's still unknown who Karamba is, what actually happened to them, and why Karamba doesn't want anybody talking about LcdDem. It's not as though anything's happened to me just because I'm talking about LCD. What was that? Hold on a second. And thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. One of my favorite things about War Thunder is how it delivers different experiences for different playstyles. Looking for fast-paced action or tactical experience, War Thunder offers something for everyone on a diverse and dynamic battlefield that features air, ground, and naval vehicles, all of which can be customized with hundreds of camouflages, historical markings, and many other 3D decorators. Play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using my link in the pinned comment or video description down below, and both new and returning players who've been inactive for the last 6 months can claim a large bonus pack with multiple premium vehicles, a premium account, an exclusive 3D decorator for your vehicle, and much more. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please subscribe. And if you know of any other video games that might be mysteriously connected to cults, submit through oddheader.com, come join the Discord, or even give me a shout through Twitter or Reddit. Shout out to Angel the Fox, Ash Photography, Bitwith27, Chad Biscuits, Ed Moffat, Eddie Talkspin the Bleach Primid, Flex, Justin Blackwood, The Meatly, Miss Arctic Foxy, Phoenix157, Rackman22, Red Team Medic, Riley S, Robert Eisenman, Rolkot Mifulua, Starcore2, Taryn Stock, and Towerizer for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.